Alrighty guys, we're back with our second video here in this series. Now this one I'm going to combine two with today. The reason that is because these two I feel like go together really well. So we're going to be doing our motherboards and our processors. Anyway, so we're going to start out here with our more expensive one. So the motherboard I have picked out right now is a Asus Prime X299 Deluxe. So this is going to be a more expensive high-end motherboard. So one big difference between a low-end and a high-end is you're going to have this little slot right here. Here, I'll zoom in, okay? And you're going to be able to put a little thing called a SSD hard drive in there. Now there's differences between those. They look honestly like sticks of RAM. They're about that big, and they'll have a little thing on the end, and you just slide it in like a USB drive right into something like this. That's like what more expensive motherboards are going to have, but for us now we're just gonna stick with processors. So this is going to be our more expensive processors computer, so we're going to want to go with a nicer processor. So the difference between a nicer high-end processor and a lower-end processor is that it can handle more things. So a processor is basically like your brain. It takes information from your body and it sends it to each little part. And then your motherboard is basically like your nervous system, how it sends signals throughout your body to tell each part of your body what to do. So this is how you're going to tell. So cores, more cores equals more power most of the time. Your frequency. So this is how we figure out how much frequency each core has. So if you're wanting to get a nice processor, like a mid-end processor, this is how you're going to do it. So you're going to take, so how many cores is this? This says it's 4 cores. Frequency, 4500. So you're going to think here, what's 4500? We divide that by 4. So 4500 divided by 4 is going to be around 10.2. So it's going to be about 1020 per core. No, it'll be a little more. It'll be like 1050 per core. Per frequency. Then if you go like something like this, an i9, it's gonna have, it still has that, but it has more cores, so this is gonna help you process your information faster. This is frequency wise, so it'll handle single tasks, so gaming, it'll handle that really well. But if you're wanting to do multiple things, so let's say if you want to stream, you want to game, you're going to have Discord open, you're going to want to have music playing, you're going to want to go for this more expensive processor, because it's gonna it's really just going to give you the ability to do that. So let's picture this. What's 18 divided by 4,200? It's roughly, I think it's going to be roughly around 300. It's going to be around 300 megahertz per core. So that's going to help out a lot. Now later in the series I'll show you how to overclock. So that's going to say if you have 18 cores, that 300 per core is really low. Like if you have 18 cores, you can easily bump this up. You can probably get this up to 1,000 or 10,000 megahertz if you know what you're doing. But yeah, anyway, so we're gonna go with a expensive processor. So this is the i9. This is older i9. We're gonna want to go with the more expensive X series. I'm saying probably this one right here. This the 9900X is pretty good. Now the 9920X is okay. The only difference is more cores. So if you want to overclock later, you can have more speed there. Same with these. I mean, more cores, basically around the same speed. But yeah, so I'm gonna choose this dude right here. We're gonna put him in here. Make sure when you're putting in a processor that you put your CPU paste. Now normally you're gonna close your shield here. You're gonna close, or here, first of all, you're gonna close your CPU shield. You gotta close that first, and then you can put your CPU handle down like that. And then you're gonna put something called thermal paste. Now your thermal paste is gonna help. It's gonna help your fan you put in. So normally you're gonna put in a CPU cooling fan. So most of the time it's good to get one that has a good airflow. So see, this says 80 SCFM. So that's honestly, that's decent. I would go more with a 100. 80 is going to work. 50 if you're going to be gaming is kind of high, but if you have good ventilation throughout your case, you should be okay. So we're going to put this dude in here, and then, I mean, obviously attach this with cables here. But yeah, that's basically it. So your this is a nice motherboard, so it's going to be able to handle a processor. So there's two different types of processors. So if you're ever going to go buy a PC, or buy parts to build a PC, there's two different. So see, there's socket types. See, this is LGA. There's LGA, and then so that's Intel, so usually processor. So, and then if you're going to want to go to your let's say if we want to go get a AMD Ryzen Threadripper. This is TR4. TR4 is a different kind because it's Threadripper. It's its own kind. And then we have AM4, which is another one. It's another type. So make sure that when you're buying it, or if you're buying if you bought a motherboard already and you're wanting to get a processor for it, don't just buy any processor. Make sure you have the right socket type. So find the socket type. So you'll go to your motherboard. You'll see, look at this socket, LGA. So then you're going to want to go to your CPU processors. You're going to want to find your LGA. So see, this is an LGA right here. LGA, LGA. It just says incompatible because I already have a processor in this one. But yeah. So this is going to be your more expensive one. So let's flip over really quick to our more inexpensive one. So see, this one's not going to have that thing like I was talking about the other one for the hard drive right here. Like, see, this one is just going to be, that's a fan just to keep it cool and all that. But anyway, we're going to install, so if we're going to want to go processor, we're going to want to go decently cheap. So right here, I would say either go with your Ryzen 5 quad-core or your Ryzen 3. If you want to go inexpensive, this is the cheapest one here. It's going to be, it's like 170, 180. I would go, we're going to go with it today. Let's see, what is the price of it? Okay, 140, even cheaper than what I thought. But yeah, so we're going to close our CPU. Now, this one doesn't have a CPU shield, so what you'll do is you'll just take your cooling stuff, you place it right on top. We're going to go for it's to be honest, it's very good to just invest in a nice fan, no matter what. Even if it's a lower end processor, keeping it cool is going to help your processor's life, as well as it's going to help your performance of your PC. If you have a really hot processor, it's not going to function as well. So we're going to go with I'm going to go with this. This is going to be a little bit of a cheaper, more cheap Arctic fan. I think it's only, where's it at? Oh, I have to scroll down here. Oh, come on, scroll down. So where's it at? Arctic Freezer 33. It's only 25 bucks. See this Arctic Freezer? It's only 25 bucks. Not super expensive. But yeah, it'll keep your PC cool. So this like I said, this motherboard has a fan here, but it only has one fan. So you're going to want to make sure you have a lot of case fans to keep your motherboard cool. There again, with a motherboard, with RAM, with any PC part you have, the hotter it runs, the less performance you're going to get. So yeah, that's a good thing to make sure that you have just a lot of fans. But yeah, more importantly, just make sure that it's you got a nice CPU, you got a decent fan in there, and whatever. Like I said, so this one's gonna have this little hard drive bay. This one, I think that these are actually the things that are. It's not exactly the same, but see, they have little things on here. I think that's the exact same thing. I think these are for your little hard drives. But yeah, those are, they still have them. They're just not as like discreet. They're more discreet. They're not as hidden. And yeah, so one last thing for motherboards is you're gonna want to pick a motherboard that has the ports you want. So if we look here, this one has mainly, so this is going to be your HDMI, these are your USB ports, these are going to be your USB 3.0 ports, or no, these are your 3.0, these are going to be for, these are just more USB ports, this is going to be for your internet, and then these are going to be all your audio ports. So you're going to want to make sure, like say, what if I only have a VGA monitor, what if I only have a DVI monitor? Well, then you're going to want to find a motherboard that has a DVI output or a VGA output. Or the cheapest thing to do, if you've already ordered a motherboard, is go to Walmart and you can buy a HDMI to VGA or DVI converter. So you plug it in, it plugs straight into your monitor, and there you go. You have your HDMI monitor ready to go. So then let's take a look at this one back here. So this one has a lot more USB ports. As you can see, it's got a couple more audio ports, and then it's got this is an old audio port. These are 2 internet ports. But yeah, those are going to be nice. And then yeah, obviously USB ports. Now most of these audio ports aren't needed unless you're going to be like a recording artist or something like that. But most of them you're just going to want your audio for your earbuds or your mic in. You'll have a mic port, usually an audio out port. Sometimes you'll have an audio in port. So that's like if you're going to be a streamer and you want a secondary PC, that's where your audio in is going to go. So that's where you're going to be able to accept audio through, I don't know, like a Elgato program that you want. But yeah, that's just mainly the default, or that's just mainly the run over of these motherboards. I think next video I'm gonna get into RAM, like the different speeds of RAM, what the differences are, But yeah, that's just going to be it. That's the basics. If you have any questions, feel free to comment down below. I'll for sure answer your question. If you want to find me on Twitch at Coma135, the link will be in the description. Just hit me up there, just message me in the chat. If I'm streaming ever, I'll be glad to answer your questions about anything, or if there's anything that you got confused about or need to clear up, just ask me on. You can ask me during a stream, or you can even just message it down below. I will get back to those as soon as possible. But yeah, that's gonna be it. So thank you for watching. We will have another video coming out. Like I said, it'll be on RAM, so stay tuned for that.